So we all know suffering is a part of life, right? Whether we like it or not, we're going to suffer at one point or another in our life, probably more than once. Probably a lot of your life is going to consist of some form of suffering. There's a lot of forms, obviously. There's mental, emotional, spiritual, physical suffering. We're going to experience probably all of those at least in some point in our life, right? And we have to learn to appreciate that in some way. And that may sound weird. You'd be like, how would you appreciate suffering? And when you think of suffering, a lot of times people think of physical first, right? Suffering physically. If somebody is in so much pain from a illness or cancer or something like that, how can you appreciate something like that? That's a good question. That's something that I've asked myself before. How can you appreciate something that can have such a negative effect on you? How can you appreciate suffering? It's really a very complicated question, but it's not at the same time. You have to appreciate suffering first off by doing exactly what I said in the beginning. You have to acknowledge that it is a part of your life, right? Suffering is something that you are going to experience. You're going to suffer at some point in your life, and you have to be okay with that. You have to. And I don't even know if I've fully come to terms with that, because suffering is something that I try to avoid, right? And you probably can relate to that yourself. Suffering is probably something that you don't seek. Nobody seeks suffering. If you seek suffering, you might be a sociopath. I don't know. But you don't seek that out. But it still finds its way to you in one way or another, right? Whether you lose a family member, I've experienced that. Whether you go through periods of depression or just extreme sadness. It doesn't have to be depression, because I don't like to say depression. Extreme sadness or just anxiety. Anxiety is a form of suffering for a lot of people because they don't know how to function with it. Sometimes it's hard to function when you have anxiety in any form, social anxiety, whatever other forms there are, right? It can be hard to function when you have something like that, right? So there's suffering in so many ways, and it's just like, how can you find an appreciation for something like that, right? And I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that, because I feel like you can appreciate suffering by simply just realizing that you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it, so why should I be scared of it, right? Don't be scared of suffering. That's something you should never be. Even if you don't seek it out, don't be scared of it. You can't. Because if you're scared to suffer, right, you're going to live your life in fear if you're scared to just deal with the hard stuff. Pause. Sorry. But it's seriously though, if you're scared to deal with certain things because you don't want to end up suffering because of it, how can you live life like that? Right? You can't really live life like that when you just constantly think, I don't want to suffer, right? And then when you do end up suffering, you won't be able to handle it because you've been trying to avoid it and you've been so scared of it, right? That's not a way to live. And that's not a way I would want to live. It's just like, you have to also realize that with suffering comes growth. We all grow from suffering, right? When we're dealing with some immense hurt and we're just dealing with that, you grow stronger from that. You get stronger from dealing with all that pain and suffering and just turmoil that you go through. You get stronger from that, and it builds an armor around your heart when you deal with that. And that's something is what you should appreciate from it. You should appreciate what can come from suffering if you decide to think about it the right way, right? But there is a negative side, because if you think of suffering, it's just suffering. If you take it for just what it is, then you can come out worse, right? Because if you deal with the loss of a family member, right, and then you take it as just, I lost a family member and that's all it is, which is hard to not think of it that way because you love that person. They were a part of your family. You love them deeply, and then you lose them. So it's hard for you to take it beyond just losing a family member. But you have to think about it. First, you have to think of, will my family want me to be sad thinking about them all the time? No, they wanted me to think about all the happy times I had with them, right? Or they would want me to try to grow from this. They wouldn't want me to just sit in my sadness, right? A lot of times you can't say what they would want, but you can know for sure that if they loved you, they wouldn't want you sitting in your sadness, right? Sitting in that, not growing from it, just being stagnant in life because of the loss of this family member, right? They wouldn't want that. And you shouldn't want that for yourself, right? So don't take the suffering for just suffering. as it is. Because if you do that, then that's all it will be. That's all it will be to you. You will never be able to appreciate it or grow from it or learn from it, right? Because you can grow so much and learn so much from the things you go through in life, whether they be good or bad. You can learn so much about yourself, about the world, about other people from the things that you go through. So don't neglect that part of the journey when you're trying to overcome the things that you go through, right? Because it is a battle to overcome the suffering that you go through. It's a battle, right? It's not something that's just gonna be gone like this, right? You have to work towards it, work to fight against it, right? Fighting against it while also embracing it. You have to find a healthy balance in that. You have to embrace it. I'm going through this right now. You have to do that, but then you have to fight it and not let yourself drown in it. Embracing it doesn't mean drowning in it. You have to fight through it while also embracing it. And that's how you can grow a certain type of appreciation for what you're going through. And I feel like once you do that, it is such a beautiful thing, right? Once you can really feel like, man, I know this is hard to go through, but I know I'm gonna come out on the other side so much better as a person, right? Once you're able to do that, it's truly a beautiful thing. And that's something we all have to try to get to in life. It's just being able to appreciate the beauty in suffering. No matter how hard it may be, we have to learn that as people. And I'm saying we, because this is not just you. I'm not just telling you to do this. I'm telling myself too, right? So try your best to appreciate the journey of overcoming all the struggles in your life. Appreciate that, because there's beauty in it. All right, that's my rant for today. Hopefully y'all learned something. Smiley out, bruh.